Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Once again, I'm Nicodemus Kane. Today is January the 16th of 2023. It's 116. They love their inversions, so it is a 119, if you want to look at it that way. You can also say that you have a 119 coming up. What is that? Thursday? Thursday, Friday, right at the end of the week. They love to do stuff right at the end of the week, too. Either way, I've already said every single day of this year, you should be wary and be ready of anything they try to pull on us, because it is that most evil of years. That's the 223. We talked about this before. I'm not going to go too far into it. Again, I have been planning, preparing myself for the years ahead. We still have some more work that we have to do, some more things that we have to get in order, but I would definitely say to anyone right now, just be ready. Anything is possible. I mean, God, they're out there outlawing gas stoves, for crying out loud. Come on. Seriously. What absurdist nonsense is going on here? For them to be able to talk like that. It's amazing. As soon as they start talking about this whole gas stove thing, the next thing I see is that Tesla starts marking down their cars. Oh, look, there's a big, huge sale on Teslas now. Electronic vehicles are on sale. They're cheap. They hadn't marked anything down. The headline was pretty sensational, but the actual markdown on the cars, no, it's not. And I'm sorry, but switching over to a completely electronic living system, it's not going to save you. They have shown time and time again that all of these green energy systems, they don't work. They don't produce enough energy to be able to support the kind of electronic living system that we have created. They just don't support that amount of energy. And it has been shown time and time again that we have fairly good sources of energy all around us, everywhere we go, that we can use. Hell, most of this stuff we can produce inside of laboratories. They have been able to make coal. It doesn't burn as well as good coal that comes out of the ground, but they have been shown that they can make coal. If they can make diamonds in a laboratory, they can make coal in a laboratory. Just saying. We're finding out that oil, the stuff that you use to make gasoline, oil has been renewing itself inside of old oil deposits. Places that had not been pumped for years. They're finding out that they're filling back up. You've been lied to. You've been lied to by greedy corporate assholes that just want your money. Over and over and over again. God has shown us that this world can sustain us. This world is a beautiful and wonderful place that can sustain us, that can give us all life and energy and health. But this world is run by evil Satanists, by demons, by monsters that just want to suck your life energy away from you. It's not even about money anymore. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if it's gold or silver or trade goods. It doesn't matter. It's the sweat of your brow that you put into the work that you do, the time of your day, the time of your life that you put into something in order to earn that money to be able to buy something else. That's all they're worried about. They're just worried about sucking your life away. corporate vampires. It's all they want, to swallow away your soul. It's not even about money anymore. It really isn't. These people can make up whatever money they want to. They don't need money. I've said this before. They don't need it. They don't need the cash. They run the banks. Why would they even need money if they run the banks? Just to screw you over, man. Just to screw you over. Just to be evil and manipulative and, above all things, lie to you. Now, I could go into a lot about lying. Because I was just thinking about it. I was just thinking about the lies, and I was thinking about people that are lying to each other, lying to themselves, being easily manipulated and falling for nonsense. But I've decided, no, I'm not going to do that. Not right now. We're going to save that discussion for another time as I collect my thoughts more about it. Because it was on my mind. It was on my mind this weekend. It really was. Thankfully, I dropped a lot of that out of my mind, and I had a good weekend. I got to go see my grandkids. I got to go see my grandbabies, and it was beautiful. I love my granddaughter. She is so good. She is so good. She's getting so big. She's starting to understand so much. She's getting smart, too. Oh, man. She's getting smart. She's getting smarter than me sometimes. It's scary. But, I got to see her. Got to see her grandson. He is, what is he? Only about 7-8 months. He's a big boy. He's big, huge boy, but he just, when he has fun, he has fun, you know. When he's just sitting there and squirming around and just smiling and laughing, yeah, he's having a good old time. It was good. It was a good weekend. And I can only thank the Father for giving it to me and taking away the nonsense thoughts that I had going into it. Because I could have very easily, like I said, come on here and I could have just ranted for a whole hour, and I don't want to do that. No, we're going to read Jeremiah 29, and it's a long one. This is 2 pages. I was looking at this and I was like, wow. You know, we've been fairly short, but this one's kind of long. I think we had another one that was kind of long a little while back. But this one's pretty big. This one looks like it says it's a letter. Now, I kind of read something that said that the entire book of Jeremiah, not only is it things that Jeremiah may have wrote, but it's things that somebody else may have wrote for him while he himself was taken into captivity. You have to remember that, you know, they had put him in jail. Not only that, but the Babylonians had come and taken him away too, because, of course, there were people like Hananiah that were making their world worse for them. There was people that were going out of their way to spread the lies, to fight back against the Babylonians. And God was constantly sending Jeremiah out saying, you know, you tell them to stop. You tell them that this is going to happen, whether they like it or not. And that if they don't sit down and shut up and take it, then they will have even worse come down upon their heads. And that's exactly what Jeremiah told Hananiah. And we went through this whole discussion about how much you can actually fight back, what you should be doing now instead of just sitting on your hands. How much you're actually supposed to be listening to those that take you captive. Talked about that too. You are subject to your rulers until it breaks the rule of God. I said that as well. We've seen that one over and over again. And it's another one of those things. Everybody likes to point at the book of Romans, point at what Paul said to us to be subject to our rulers. Yet Paul, just like the rest of the apostles, was martyred. What was he doing wrong? He was preaching the word of God. He was doing what they told him not to do, but he did it anyways. He didn't go home and sit on his hands and say, well, that's it. I'm just going to pray to God and I'm just going to wait until the rapture comes and takes me away. No, that's not what he did. He went back out into the streets. Peter did the same thing. All the apostles did the same, every single one of them. They were all martyred for what they did. Christ flipped tables outside of the temple. Cracked whips. What people don't seem to understand that there's a big argument going on right now between a couple different guys on Twitter about whether you believe in Yeshua or you believe in the hippie Jesus. I think it's hilarious whenever this stuff goes through. I get the whole hippie Jesus thing. It's the, love and tenderness and mercy and grace will carry you through. And yes, there's a part of it that's like that. But it's also the sit on your hands and do nothing, routine of it all. And everybody thinks that all Christ had to do was walk into a place, and all he had to do was just say a couple words, and everybody was all nice and friendly, and that was what he did. That is not what he did. Christ walked right up to people and said, "You're a hypocrite. You're a liar. You're a thief." He flipped tables. When he saw something that did not match up to what God told him to do, what the Word of God, what the Bible itself, the scriptures, whatever the hell you want to call them, when he saw something that did not align with what God commanded him and his people to do, he flipped tables. And they went after him constantly, over and over again. And he talked to them square in their face and went against everything that they ever knew, because they had changed the word to match their lifestyle. Not what God commanded them. They changed it to match their lifestyle, just the way everybody's doing it right now. Oh, you can go out and you can worship pagan idols. It's okay. God has allowed us to do it. Christ died on the cross so that we can have Christmas. Come on, man. Piss off. Are you kidding me with this stuff? Christ died on the cross so that we can worship Easter bunnies. So that we can play with eggs. That's no. Stop. Give me a break. Christ died on the cross so that we could worship Christmas trees. Stop it. I was thinking about this. What was it? We were driving past it was like a car lot or something, and they still had all their Christmas trees out. And it hit me in my mind again about the whole, decorating the tree and, lighting the tree, the whole tree worship thing. It's every single tree they had in there, it was a pine tree, and they had them all decorated up, and they were all pretty, and, oh, it's so Christmassy, such a Christmas spirit. It's pagan. It's idolatry. Sorry, guys. It just is what it is. It's just funny. It was just one of those things. I just looked at it and I said, "Oh God, here we go again." But that's what it is. That's what people think. No, that's not what Christ did for you. I'm sorry. He did not take away God's word so that you could have Christmas trees. He did not take away God's word so that you can sit on your hands and do nothing while you get ruled over by evil men. He did not sit on your hands so that you can not call out evil. You preach the word everywhere. If you're going to be a disciple of Christ, if you're going to follow his word, then you need to follow his word. If you're not going to be that person, then you need to go off somewhere and let the big boys handle this, because you're just getting in the way. You are presenting that stumbling block to your brother by telling your brother not to do these things. That's exactly what the Bible, that's what Paul preached. That's exactly what Paul preached. He said, you can go off. You can let people do whatever they want to do. If you find somebody that wants to go do this, wants to go do that, hey, that's on them. That's going to be between them and God. The biggest, most important thing is, do not put a stumbling block in your brother's way while he is finding his journey. While he is finding his path. That's between him and God. As for you, you preach the word. You preach the word. You tell them the way it's supposed to be. And if they don't listen to you, you do what the other apostles tell you to do. You wipe the dust off your feet and you walk away. But people have taken that to mean that everything is open. Everything is open to interpretation. Everything can be put out there into the world, and you can do whatever the hell you want to, and it won't matter. It'll be just fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. Christ knows your heart. Christ died so that you can sin. It's what I hear. That's the thing that I heard. I heard it the other day. I heard somebody say that, and I said, you got to be shitting me. You've got to be absolutely kidding me. Somebody's going to sit there and tell me that Christ died on the cross so that you can sin? Enough of the frivolity. Jeremiah 29. Let's go ahead and read this. Since I've started late and since, I don't really have to worry about my wife so much today because she has the day off. I don't. Did I mention how my work treated today? Because, today is supposedly Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My work sent out an email. I'm going to blow my nose here in a second. My work sent out an email saying, all right, hold on. See, I knew it. I had that sneeze building up, and I just knew it was coming. Anyways, my work sent out an email saying, oh, we are so happy and proud to be able to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We celebrate the life and, the times and commitment and whatever the hell else that he did, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what all it said. And he said, we are proud to be able to celebrate this day with all of our employees. You can celebrate this day too and celebrate him and what he did by taking some time off, taking a PTO day, taking your diversity day, doing some, community service, whatever. It wasn't, no, we're going to give you the time off to celebrate the guy. We're going to tell you that we celebrate the day, which basically means that the upper management is all going to be off, and that you can celebrate it too. You just take some PTO. You can have the day off too. Just take some PTO. It'll be okay. Use your diversity day, which is a floating holiday that we have. They gave us an extra 8 hours for diversity. All right, whatever, man. I don't care. It's, But yeah, that was how my work handled it. That was good stuff. That's probably the epitome of my job for the past 2 years. My job used to care. They used to really have a concept of caring. It really did. It was like when I first started 3 years ago. It wasn't so backstabby as it was. It wasn't so tongue in cheek. But over the past couple of years, man, it just seems like more and more they have just gotten really, I don't know, something about it that's changed. The whole world has changed. I've said this before too, is that everybody's changed because nobody wants to speak up, because everybody just wants to sit on their hands. All of the best good people in this world just want to sit on their hands and do nothing, because they feel like they've been defeated. If they just wait out the rapture. Oh, the rapture's coming, we'll just wait it out. It'll be okay. Well, that's fine. You can sit in your house and you can sit on your hands and you can do nothing while everybody around you suffers. And you can think that you're so high and mighty, but you're not actually doing anything. You're not speaking the truth. You're not speaking honestly. You're not even remotely doing what God told you to do. But whatever, that's cool. Do what you want. I can't stop you. It is what it is. God wants us out there speaking the word. He wants us out there speaking truth. Truth. Not just what you make up to make you think you know what you're talking about. He wants the truth. Cold, undeniable truth of the world. But no, people would rather take that word and stretch it and spread it and manipulate it to mean what they want it to mean. And all that's going to do is lead you into a place of darkness, lead you along that broad path. Just remember, when you read something out of the Bible, if you really want to know for truth, and when somebody tells you something, ask yourself the question: is this the broad path that leads to destruction, or is this the narrow path that leads to salvation? If everybody in the world is following this one thing, that's probably not the way to go. That's where we are now. Can't have a mega church with 25,000 people and think that's the narrow path. That's not the way it is. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Some of those people in there are probably good, perfect. They want the truth and they got manipulated into a wrong place, and they're probably going to wind up in heaven. For doing whatever it is. But the majority of those people in there, they just want to hear the soft words, tickle their ears, that are going to send them down the wrong path because they don't want to hear the truth. God lets you have the deception because you don't want to hear the truth. It is what it is. I come at that out of truth of the Bible, not out of judgment. I can't judge you. All I can do is tell you the truth. And when somebody comes at me and tells me something that I know for a fact that I can look up in the book and I can prove for myself, that's not the way it is. That's what I have to say. I have to call it out. Sorry, it is what it is. Jeremiah 29. Again, that the easiest way, like I said, at this point, the easiest way is if it is the broad way that everybody follows, then it's probably not true. If it's the narrow path, that actually leads to God, then it's probably the way you're supposed to go. That's my ruler at this point. That's my litmus test at this point. Jeremiah 29. And again, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Don't do that. Go find out for yourself. Find it for yourself. If I'm saying something that makes sense, then hey, great, but I'm not your savior. I'm not your king. I'm not your ruler. I'm not your priest. I'm not your preacher. I'm not your pastor. I am just some guy. Go find it for yourself. I say that all the time. Don't listen to me. Find it for yourself. I'm doing my best to find the one person that hasn't heard it, that needs to hear it a certain way, that they need to snap out of the lies of this world. That's the person I'm trying to find. Everybody else that comes along, hey, that's great. That's awesome. If you hear something different than, you've heard before, that'll help you be able to tell somebody else how to do it. That's even better. Because I said before too, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just need to find that person that knows how to say it differently, but needs to have that little bit of something that they don't know. Because we're all bringing our own special skills to this. We're all bringing our own understandings to this, so that we can all become something better. It's the body of Christ. You remember, it's you want to talk about Paul's letters. Paul's letters talk about not condemning one person for following one way when you're going another way, because that person may be finding something that you're not finding. We're all planting different seeds. It's going to the same place, but we're all planting different seeds in different people. That's why you have 2 or 3 witnesses, because there might be somebody else that can come in there and talk to somebody the way you can't. And if they don't want to hear it a different way, then it's like move on. That's what it is. But anymore, you have people again that when they come at you with an argument, if you say something that they don't like, they want to come at you with so much other stuff. And they just want to take the most roundabout way of, finding what they want to tell you. And it's like, well, I can prove that 1,000,000 times that, you can cherry pick the Bible, but that's not, you take the whole thing in context. It's amazing that people will, again, they'll go to one book in like the New Testament, and they'll find that one verse. They'll find the one verse that says that we can do whatever we want to do because Christ saves us. And yet I can go and cherry pick 50 other places that say the same exact counter argument against it. We can celebrate Christmas. Well, no, you can't. Your God told you in your Bible 20 times, do not do as the heathens do. Do not worship the heathen ways. I've read just within the past, I don't know how many years, 2 years, we've talked about trees and worshiping trees. Several times over, we've talked about it. And it's not just about pagans. It's not just about pagans. Not just about Christmas. It's not just about that. It's about other stuff. Again, it's amazing. The people. Twitter's a cesspool. I swear I need to get off Twitter. Twitter is just an absolute cesspool. Jeremiah 29, 30 minutes in. I didn't want to do this, but we're already 30 minutes in. Let's see if we can get through this. And this is a big one, but most of it is somewhat self-explanatory. So we'll go ahead. It's chapter 29. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, and the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem. By the hand of Elisha, let's try that. By the hands of Elisha, because it's Elasah, Elisha, it's not Eliza, it's Elisha. By the hand of Elisha, the son of Shaphan, and Gemariah, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Judah, sent unto Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon, build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there, and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. There's a pilcrow at verse 8. I'm going to take a drink because my throat is getting dry because I spent 30 minutes ranting and raving. I'm that guy. We've talked about this before. Water is definitely something I have not had enough of this weekend. I wanted to see. They have the concordance for this whole section in the parentheses. Okay. Now, I wanted to check that though, because in the new translations of the Bible, NIV, I don't know if it does it in the new King James. What was the other one? International version? Well, that's the NIV. That's what was the other one? No, there's another one that does it too. That they add stuff in it. When they add stuff in it, they put it in the parentheses. So I wanted to see if this actually had the Strong's in it to see if it was actually a thing. Now, for King James, when they add something to it, it's in italics. Yes, they added words to the King James. They did that just to let it flow, to help the word flow, because sometimes, like if I were to say, here's one for you. Now these are the words of the letter of Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem. Okay, there's an italicized word there. It's R. So if we took R out, now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah. Now it's because of the translation between the Hebrew or the, whatever it was that was there to English. But in the New International Version, they add things. They put them in parentheses. The book even says they do that. That's why you get up to, I don't remember where exactly it was. I think it was in Matthew or something, where Christ turns to his disciples and he says, it is not the thing that goes into a man's body that corrupts him. It is the thing that comes out of a man's heart that corrupts him. Parentheses, and thus he made all meats unclean. Or he made all meats clean, sorry. Parentheses. That's not in a King James. And yet, everybody wants to use that specific place right there that they added into the book later on that was not in the scriptures to begin with. That's how they want to tell you that you can eat anything you want to eat. Because all meats are now clean. That's how it works. That's how the Bibles work. The King James is not perfect. The NIV is definitely not perfect. The New King James is not perfect. The Septuagint, I don't even know if that was even perfect. I don't even know. We will possibly never know. I guess until we learn the language and be able to read it for ourselves. You know, that probably might be the only way. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, King James only. No, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna tell you this much. If there are words in a dictionary that mean something completely different 200 years ago than they do now, maybe there's words in your Bible 400 years ago that mean something different than they do now. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. I would rather get closer to the source, because it seems like the further we get away from the truth, when these things were written, the further we get away from it, the more that we lose our ability to understand what it is, what they were really saying. That's all I want. It's the truth. I want to get as close to the truth as I possibly can. Because, just within the past 70 years. Just within the past 70 years, they've had how many new translations? Think about that for a second. Just think about that. Just with that short amount of time. It's crazy. Anyways, do whatever you want to do. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Starting back at the top. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of elders, which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. So this is Jeremiah sending letters down to them. So this is in parentheses. After that, Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, and the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem. So this is after they pretty much cleared out the whole city. By the hand of Elisha, the king of Shaphan, and Gemariah, the king of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Judah, sent unto Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon, build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. So God's telling them, don't go down there and be slaves. Don't go down there and just be captives. Build yourself houses. Build yourself gardens. Be subject to your rulers, but don't be subjected by your rulers. We were talking about this the other day too. Is that you can go down there and you can live. Build yourselves back up. Have sons, have daughters, have wives. I don't know exactly how the Babylonians did it back in the day. Apparently they let the Israelites have a lot of freedom. They really did. They let themselves have a lot of freedom to be able to do pretty much whatever the heck they wanted to do. So God said, you know what? I told you you're going to be taken captive and you're going to be just fine. So while you're down there, build houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, have sons, have daughters, multiply. That was the first commandment. Are all the commandments done away with? The first commandment, be fruitful and multiply. That was the first commandment of God. So that's what he's telling them to do. You will be there. You will not diminish. You will be my remnant. And remember, he said after the third generation, after Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and then his son after him, then I will pull you back out of Babylon. That's what God promised these people. But in the meantime, go down there, multiply, do what you got to do. Verse 7, and seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, and in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. So seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captives. Seek the peace inside of the city that you have been carried away to, and pray unto the Lord for it. Did he say, and when they tell you to pray to other gods, pray to the other gods? No, he didn't say that. He said, pray to the Lord. Did he say follow in their traditions and their rules? No, he didn't. He said, pray to the Lord. It is, again, one thing to be carried away slaves, carried away captives, to be subject to your rulers. It is another thing entirely to be subjected by the rules of your rulers. Because again, when it comes time for the mark of the beast, when it comes time for them to say, okay, now you shall bow down and worship at the mark of at the beast, now you shall worship at the image of the beast, are you going to fall to your knees, yes or no? That's what it comes down to. You can fight back. I don't know how many times I can say that. I don't want to keep going on about it. I don't want to. There's so many things on my mind, I swear. Verse 8, and there's only 2 of them here until 10. So, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams, which ye have caused to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith the Lord. Nope. And yet again, it's those that are in the midst of you that deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams, that cause you to be dreams. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye have caused to be dreamed. Now remember, this is Jeremiah. Some people called him a prophet, some people called him false and fake. This is Jeremiah, who was pulled as a kid and told these people from the time that he was a kid, hey, God said this, hey, God said that. They have gone out of their way to take him away from that because they didn't want to listen to what he said. Oh, he's speaking wrongly against us. He's speaking falsely against us. He is speaking things we don't want to hear. He's speaking soft things. So, because of that, let's go imprison him. Let's go take his life away. Let's go do all these things to him. This is Jeremiah saying, all those people that have told you the soft things that tickle your ears, that do nothing for you, all the ones that have told you, hey, either sit still and do nothing, follow in the ways that they want you to follow, or rise up and fight against it. they're the ones that are lying to you. I have said it before. I understand that now. When all this started, when the lockdowns started, I kept telling people to resist, find the truth, resist in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of people didn't. And slowly as we have gone, I've come to learn that there is a difference between the two about pushing back for man's sake and pushing back for God's sake. There is a difference. Of course, I've said above it all, you pray to God what He wants you to do. If God tells you it's time to go load up the guns, it's time to go load up the guns. He will tell you when it's time. But for this is Jeremiah saying, don't listen to these people. Don't even hearken to your dreams, which ye cause to be dreamed. God is telling you to do something right now. Listen to Him more than anything else. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith the Lord. Verse 10, for thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. For ye shall seek me, and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. 70 years. So, again, he said before I said it was like 3 generations. 3 generations could be, 210 years. That's not what it is. He says 70 years, which would be, Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and then his son after him. That makes sense. Verse 10 again, for thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place. He is saying, don't listen to anybody else. Don't worry about any uprisings. Don't worry about any, anything else. Don't strictly follow somebody if they tell you, while you're here, you're supposed to go and pray to this God at a certain time. Again, Daniel didn't do that. Daniel may very well have read this letter. You never know. You never know. Daniel and his friends didn't eat the meat while they were there. They didn't worship at the gods, or didn't worship at the feet of the idols while they were there. Daniel got caught praying to God because the king said no one is supposed to be praying to any other gods but our gods, and if they are caught praying to other gods, then they will be killed. They will be thrown into the lion's den. And sure enough, Daniel got caught. He got thrown in a lion's den, but God saved him because he did what God told him to do. Be subjective, or be a subject of your rulers, but do not be subjected to their rules. We can go on and on about this, but I'm not going to. Where am I at? Verse 11, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. I keep wanting to say unexpected, but it's just expected. To give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. Then it says to pray to the Lord for the city to which you're going to go. Pray for the peace. Always pray to God. It said you follow my rules, follow my commandments. Just sit there, pray to me, and be subject to your rulers. 70 years you're going to be here. This is your punishment for following after the false gods, doing all those false things. What were the 3 false things that he told people not to do? He sent Jeremiah out into the people and told them not to do. What was the things that he told them not to do? One of them was that they were taking the trees, cutting a portion of the trees to burn it, which I said was similar to a Yule log. They were actually growing the trees so that they could carve them into idols. Carving them into idols was another one. It was the women were baking cakes to the queen of the heavens, which is Ishtar. I mean, you can call it any other kind of Ashtaroth, Diana, whatever the hell you want to say her name is. Ishtar, which is the different pronunciation of the word Easter. It is a fertility goddess. It is the goddess that you worship whenever you have Easter eggs. I said plainly, Jeremiah told them not to do the things that we do for Easter. But they did it anyways. The next one that came in there was talking about pulling the bones out, scattering the bones, worshiping the dead, having the day of worship for the dead. Now, I went 3 different places with that. The first one I was talking about is, that it was the same thing with the Catholics. When they pull out the dead, they pull out the bones of these saints, parade them around, and they all worship around these bones. It's weird. I said that there could be a second one that we don't know about where they actually pull the bones out and scatter them across the streets and across the fields, and they worship like that. Maybe that's something that we haven't seen yet. The third one I said was they don't have to pull the bones out. They pull the remembrances of the bones out. That sounds exactly like the Day of the Dead. What leads into the Day of the Dead? Well, Halloween leads into the Day of the Dead. It's death worship. Samhain or Samhain. It's the same thing. So Halloween, he says, if you worship at Easter, do not do these things. Halloween, the practices that they do for do not worship at these things. But they did it anyways. What was the third one? Well, the third one was do not do as the heathens do. This is God telling them, this is your chance to stop doing this right now. If you stop doing these practices, I will not bring my wrath upon Jerusalem. What did he say? Jeremiah 10, do not go into the field, cut down a tree, bring it in, fasten it down, deck it with silver and gold, and worship it. He doesn't say worship it, but it's what they did. They worshiped it. Now, of course, everybody wants to say, oh, well, that just means that you're taking a tree and you're carving it into an idol. It doesn't matter. You're still worshiping the tree. I can take you out to that used car lot, whatever the hell it was that I just was talking about whenever we passed by, that had all those trees that were all lit up. That's worship. They're worshiping a tree. You sing songs about the tree. You idolize the tree. You're worshiping the tree. Every single year you do it, just like the maypole. People used to talk about going out and worshiping the maypole. They used to wrap the maypole up. They made us do that as kids. I look at that now and I think, oh my God, I can't believe I did this kind of stuff. I can only ask the Father to help take that away from me. To take that pagan worship, that pagan idolatry away from me, because I didn't know any better. God will forgive for ignorance. He'll forgive ignorance because you didn't know. But now that you know, it's going to be up to you to figure out what you're going to do with it. But Jeremiah said it. If God said, if you stop doing these things, he will take it away. He will not bring upon you what's happening. Well, you didn't listen. So all of these things I will bring upon you, and now that you're captive, I will keep you here for 70 years, and you can pray all you want. But it's not going to be until until you hit that 70-year mark that I'm going to bring you all out. He brought Daniel out. Think about that for a second. Daniel was not subjected to his rulers. He was in captivity, but he was not subjected to the rules. And they did their best to kill him, and God saved him at every point. Why? Because God was sending a message. He was sending a message to the Babylonians. Not only that, he was sending a message to the rest of the Israelites. He said, I want you to be here. I don't want you to give up on me. I want you to be here. You're going to be here. You're going to be punished for the things that you did. Your Easter worship, your Halloween, your Christmas. You're going to be in captivity for these things. Somebody's going to hear that and they're going to scream. Oh, I can hear it now. Well, that's not the way it's supposed to be. You don't know anything about Christmas if you're going to sit there and talk like that. People do that. They talk like that, man, all the time. I've had these arguments before. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're not listening to what the Bible tells you to do. You're trying to make up something that's not really there, and simply for your enjoyment, not for God's enjoyment, for your enjoyment. You get your happy joy feelings out of Christmas, and you want to keep it as much as possible, no matter how much somebody wants to tell you not to do it. Well, it's going between you and the big man. I'm not gonna tell you what is and isn't going to happen here. I'm gonna tell you this much: that God doesn't want you to do it, but you're gonna do it anyway. So, is what it is. We need to keep going though. I need to keep moving. What are we at? 11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken to you. And you can pray to me all you want, but you're going to be here for 70 years. I will protect you and save you while you are here, as long as you don't fall into more idolatry. But you're going to be here. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart, because you're not searching for me with all your heart. If you were, you wouldn't be here in the first place. But by that point, you're gonna be searching as much as you possibly can, just like there's a lot of people doing right now. There's a lot of people doing right now that are coming back to him, and they're going whole heart. I was there. I was going whole heart every day. There's guys I know right now that there's one guy in particular I know that he has dived in full, completely. And I look at him and I see the things that he does, and it's like, I was there. That's, you get that oomph. What's all you want is to find every single bit possible. And it's a beautiful and amazing thing. With all your heart. 14. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. 15. Because ye have said, the Lord hath raised us up prophets in Babylon, know that thus saith the Lord of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are not gone forth with you into captivity. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse, and an astonishment, and an hissing, and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them, because they have not hearkened to my word, saith the Lord, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them. But ye would not hear, saith the Lord. We have heard those exact same words, and again, that is why I said that what I read, what they seem to understand is that Jeremiah came from several different places. Stuff he wrote, stuff people wrote about him, and letters that he had written. That's why it repeats. It's because it's all things that have been said before that he has written. That, of course, the Word of God likes to repeat, because God, he knows, just like the evil ones of this world, repetition, redundancy, and repetition is the best way for anyone to learn anything. Just say it over and over again. Of course, God says it over and over again. He wishes you'd learned it the first time, but most people don't. So you got to say it again and again and again. So 15 again. Because ye have said, the Lord hath raised us up prophets in Babylon, know that thus saith the Lord, of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are not gone forth with you into captivity. Know this about everybody else, all the ones that ran away, fought back, that, as Isaiah said, they went down to Egypt and paid them to come fight for them, which God got really mad at. He even said, you went through all this trouble, or I went through all this trouble to pull you out of Egypt. And the first thing you did was you ran back to Egypt to pay them to fight for the land that I brought you to. It's like, what in the world are you people thinking? He said, of all those people that are left, thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten, they are so evil. We've heard that before. And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse, and an astonishment, and an hissing, and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them to. They will be a most unwanted people anywhere I drive them to, because they have not hearkened to my words, saith the Lord, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but ye would not hear, saith the Lord. So these are the people that fought back. These are the ones that, even though God told them, this is going to come, this is going to happen, they said they were going to do their damnedest to not follow the word of God, and they were going to fight back. Now again, I get that. I get that now. It's taken me having to read this to this point. I can change my tune on this. I understand that. But he made these people, sent all these people out to all these different places so that all these people could look upon them and say, ew, look at those people. Those people are gross and nasty. We don't want to touch those people because those are the ones that were part of Jerusalem. Ew. But he said that. It's similar to, what am I thinking about with, when Jasher talked about the people of the Tower of Babel. And we talked about what he did with certain peoples. The ones that said that they wanted to go up and kill God, he killed them immediately. The ones that went up and said that they wanted to install their own gods, he turned them into monkeys and elephants. Remember, we talked about that. Talked about, how it's entirely possible that we devolved, And then the third group was the ones that, what did they say? They just wanted to go up and, or what was it? It was, the ones said they wanted to kill God, so he killed them. The ones said that they wanted to install their own gods. And the ones said that they wanted to become gods. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was the ones that became gods were the ones that became monkeys. The ones that wanted to install their own gods. I don't remember. But it was like the third ones were the ones that he confounded and he sent them all away. But it sounds similar to that. It's, the ones that want to listen to me will be taken captive. And, they will go down and they will multiply and they will go forth. And it's like the slaves in Egypt. they'll get to be able to reproduce and do all these things, and then eventually I will come and take them out. It's similar to this. He said, everybody else, though, the ones that didn't want to listen to me, the ones that wanted to fight back, the ones that went to the people that I just took them out of and asked them for help, I will destroy them and make them a curse upon all this land. Verse 20. Hear ye therefore the word of the Lord, all ye of the captivity, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, of Ahab the son of Koliah, and of Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah. I hate when they break them, like halfway, or like that one half's one place, one half's another place, and you're trying to put them together and it just looks weird. Maaseiah, let's go with that, which prophesy a lie unto you in my name. And behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Judah, which are in Babylon, saying, the Lord make thee like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have committed villainy in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know, and am witness, saith the Lord. So back to verse 20. Hear ye therefore the word of the Lord, all ye of the captivity, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. So hear everyone that's here. Listen to this. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, of Ahab the son of Koliah, and Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah, I guess is the right way to say it, which prophesy a lie unto you in my name. Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. Again, anyone that comes and prophesies a lie bears false witness. Father, I have asked every single day, please do not let me bear lies upon you. Whatever the word is that you're going to give me, let it come to me in truth. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Judah, which are in Babylon, saying, the Lord make thee like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have committed villainy in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know, and am witness, saith the Lord. So because they have committed villainy in Israel and committed adultery, because they did things in Israel that went against what God told them to do, and because he witnessed them, because he knows that they are wrong, and yet they are probably those that are in captivity in Babylon, that are going on and on about fighting back so that they can get back to their unrighteousness, that he will send them to Nebuchadrezzar so that they can be slain before their eyes. It's what it sounds like to me. That may or may not be true, and I always say, don't listen to me, find it out for yourself, but that's what it sounds like to me. So 24. Thus shalt thou also say, just blah, 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 blah. All right, let's try that one again. Thus shalt thou also speak to Shemaiah the Nehelamites. Nehelamites sounds like a rock. the Nahelamites, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, Because thou shalt send letters, because thou hast sent letters in thy name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, and to all the priests, saying, The Lord hath made thee priest in the stead of Jehoiada the priest, that ye should be officers in the house of the Lord. For every man that is mad and maketh himself a prophet, that thou shouldest put him in prison and in the stocks. Now therefore, why hast thou not reproved Jeremiah of Anathoth, which maketh himself a prophet to you? For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. And Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the ears of Jeremiah the prophet. So that is confusing as hell. So we're going to try that one again. So 24, Thus shalt thou also speak to Shemaiah, the Nehelamites, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, Because thou hast sent letters in thy name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, and to all the priests, saying, The Lord hath made thee priest in the stead of Jehoiada the priest, that ye should be officers in the house of the Lord. For every man that is mad, 26, for every man that is mad, to be maddened, to rave through insanity. Okay, there we go. For every man that is crazy, who is mad, and maketh himself a prophet, that thou shouldest put him in prison and in the stocks. For every man that is not of a good and wise mind, that ye should be officers for every man that is mad and making himself a prophet, that shouldest put him in prison and in the stocks. Okay. Now therefore, why hast thou not reproved Jeremiah of Anathoth, which maketh himself a prophet to you? So yet again, you guys, I have put you guys as priests of the house of the Lord, and I have given you the ability to say these things. And you have gone out and you have said, you've made sure that you have not put any of the raving nut jobs in the places where they could prophesy lies. Why have you not reproved Jeremiah? Why have you not made him a prophet yet? Jeremiah, who has been there since he was a child. Why are you not listening to him? You're still out there talking all the stuff I told you not to talk. And yet I have this guy right there. For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. And Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the ears of Jeremiah the prophet. So let's see if we've got some more here. 30. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah, saying, Send to all them of the captivity, saying, Thus saith the Lord concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamites, because that Shemaiah hath prophesied unto you, and I sent him not, and he caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah the Nehelamites, and his seed. He shall not have a man to dwell among this people, neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, saith the Lord, because he hath taught rebellion against the Lord. And again, that could very well be rebellion, because the Lord said, you're going to be here for 70 years, whether you like it or not, to build up houses, to have children, to just exist while you can. This could very well be rebellion against God, because he said, follow the way that the pagans do. While you're here, follow your customs, or follow their customs, follow their rituals. When they tell you to bend a knee to their idols, bend a knee to their idols. I'm not bending my knee to their idols. But again, so many people are so indoctrinated and ingrained into thinking that when anything their government tells them to do comes down the pipe, they will immediately do it. Including changing your DNA. I just had this argument with people on Reddit the other day. They wanted to go on and on about, it's not, it doesn't change your DNA, it's just RNA. Don't you know how this works? Yeah, I know how that works. I know that your RNA comes from your DNA. If you change your RNA, then you're fundamentally changing your DNA. I'm not stupid. It's completely absurd. It's, for years and years and years now, there's been a lot of scientists, specialists, and mouthpieces like Bill Gates that have gone out of their way to tell you that, these new mRNA injections, shots, whatever you want to call them, they are going to change your body, to change you, manipulate you into being able to fight all these diseases, fight all these things, do something that will fundamentally change you so that you can, and then they talk about reprogramming it, that you can just take something else that will reprogram it. There's been people out there that have said that we can do it with technology. You can come into a place that they can very easily, hook you up to a computer, send out a signal that will change whatever's going on inside of your body. This is the stuff that they talk about. I'm not making that up. This is what they said. And yet, you tell the normies that this stuff, that they've talked about this. Oh, no, that's not what they said. No, this isn't supposed to change your DNA. Oh, yeah, that's what they said. But people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear it. So, when your government tells you to bend the knee and to change your DNA, and the Bible, God tells you that there will be something, some kind of a mark of the beast that will change your body, that will do something to manipulate something inside of you to change you. Are you going to listen? Are you just going to follow along with it? It doesn't even have to do. What happens whenever they take all your money away? And they say, the only way that you can keep your money is if you do everything they tell you to do. Just remember that worship itself is not falling down on your knees in front of something and praying to something. That's part of it, yeah, sure. But that's not everything that worship is. You can worship something just by believing that it's something that will save you, something that could do something for you. Even our money, and I told you this before, even just having money is a form of worship. You have to be careful. You have to be careful in this world. Everything is such a lie. Everything. And because everything has this symbology on it and everything means something, the names that they give stuff, the names that they give things, the days of the week. You do certain things on certain days of the week that they have named after the moon, they have named after sun, they have named after different gods. Everything we do. Everything. We're not just drowning in lies, we're drowning in paganism. The whole thing is a nightmare. We're past the point of being rebellious to God because we're not listening to him. We're into the realm of being rebellious to God just because we don't know any better. My people die for lack of knowledge. His people die because they don't have the wisdom enough to be able to see through the darkness. There will be a lack of the truth. You are living in the great deception. There are so many people out there, it surprises the hell out of me, that yet again, I have to say this. I don't even know why I have to say this again. So many people out there that think that the great deception is coming, that they cannot be lied to. You've already been lied to. We're past the great deception. We're drowning in lies so much now. There's other things going on here. And God has chosen to blind the people because they would rather believe the lie than follow in any kind of righteousness. Yet again, that's where we are. And I have to say it again and again. It surprises me that no one seems to be able to just hear the words. They can hear the words, but they won't accept it. They just can't accept it. They can't accept the truth because it messes with their worldview. Because we've been sown. I was there. That's the other thing that I think I need to start saying too, is I was right there with everybody else. I would have believed it just like everybody else. I followed along in this evil, twisted world just like everybody else. I am just as guilty. I can never 100% say that I saw it coming from the very beginning. I didn't see it coming from the very beginning. I said I really got woken up to it, after 9/11. And that was what slowly but surely started showing me that more and more that there's something else truly evil going on in this world. Until, what was it, about 2014, 2015? When I really started getting into the heaviest stuff. Once you start going down the big rabbit holes, and you go through all of that, and then like 2 or 3 years later, you pop out on the other end, on your knees on the floor, praying to God to help pull you out of this mess. I was there, but before that, I'll tell you what, if I had not been woken up to 9/11, to Sandy Hook, to the wars, the lies, I would probably be just another faceless masked drone just like everybody else. I've thought about this actually. I've actually had this thought that if I wasn't truly awake to it, what would I be? I'd be a faceless mass drone just like everybody else. I don't know if I'd be going for the shots. I was never really big on the shots anyways, because, I don't need a doctor until I need a doctor. Does that make sense? I don't need somebody to tell me how healthy I am until something happens. And then he can talk to me. I don't need somebody constantly breathing down my neck saying, "Oh, well, you're not healthy enough." Well, how do you know? How do you know? You're just here to make money. You're going to sit there and tell me I'm not healthy, and then you're going to prescribe medicine to me. All that medicine is going to do is give you kickbacks. I don't take medicine. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing fairly well, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much. Go away. I barely got any medical checkups my entire life. I got checked whenever I was... When was that? I got my checkup whenever I was 40, and she said, other than just being overweight, you're perfectly healthy. I said, well, yeah, I know, because I stay away from doctors. It's just the way it is, the truth. But I think I'd be there, I think I'd be just another faceless mass drone, falling for the lies and manipulation of the world. But that was not my path. And now I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. Trying to figure Jeremiah out. And I'm not perfect. I've said that. I'm not perfect at all. I'm not the Bible guy. I'm not the one that can go and hunt down I'm not the one that can give you chapter and verse and tell you exactly how it works. There are so many other people that like to do that, that want me to do that, and I'm like, it's just not. I think that you can have an understanding of what the word says and not have to. It's amazing. Some people think that the only way that you can be called any form of Bible scholar at all, or you can tell someone that you can understand the Bible, is if you can't quote chapter and verse, you are not extremely well versed in the Bible. And to that I say, I think you're wrong. I don't think you have to be able to quote chapter and verse. I think God set it up to where once you get the understanding, you can go through with life. I have many people tell me I'm wrong all the time, and that's okay. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But if I can go back into my book, and if you tell me to go look at something, and if I look it up, and if I can very easily and simply continue down the chapter, even into the next chapter of which you told me to look, and find a contradiction to what you just said, then I have to say that you're wrong. What you said is untrue. I don't know how many times I've had that happen. And the worst part, especially going up against somebody who has been inside of the religion of Christianity for years, trying to tell them that I see something they don't see. I still will talk about the story of my father-in-law, who is a pastor. He's been a pastor for a while. It was when I was first coming to it, and I was asking him, should we be eating pork or not? And he said, no, we don't have to because God made all meats clean. And I said, where exactly does it say that? He said, well, then right here, look, NIV, Matthew, and thus he made all meats clean. And I said, but the King James doesn't say that. I said, no, it says that. I said, no, it doesn't say that. And he opened up King James side by side, and it wasn't in there. And he said, well, there's also a place where Peter talks about having a dream of, whenever God brings down the blanket full of all the animals. And he said, everything is clean to eat. And I said, no, keep reading that. Peter actually goes to a place where the Gentiles are, and he says, now I have understanding of the dream that I can eat with the Gentiles. It says nothing about eating pork. He said, well, that's not what it says. And, I think we got interrupted or something, and that was the end of the conversation. And I was like, wait a minute. This didn't solve anything for me. This man had been, he's a learned pastor for 30 plus years, and he just gave me the same old stuff that everybody else did. Now, I can't be the guy to tell him, oh, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do this. I was trying to find it for myself. I said, give me understanding so that I can know the truth, so that I don't, step into that trap. And he couldn't. Anybody else I've talked to, a couple other people I've talked to, they couldn't either. They don't like that I don't eat pork, but I said, I can't prove it for myself. If I can't prove it for myself, then how in the world am I supposed to tell anybody else what to do? And it basically came down to, well, I can't tell anybody else what to do because they're not going to tell me what to do. So all I can say is look at it for yourself. But, again, it's the litmus test. Does it go down the broad way, or does it go down the narrow path? I'm not perfect, man. I'm not perfect by any means, shape, or form. I've even questioned whether I should be doing this. I have questioned this before, but God continues to tell me to keep reading the book. And sooner or later, I got a feeling we're going to come up against something that's going to completely and fundamentally change my understanding of how all this works. And hey, man, that'd be interesting if it happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could very well happen. But I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm going to have people that still are going to think that I'm speaking the wrong truths. There's going to be people out there that are probably going to call me a blasphemer by the end of all this. All I say is, if you can prove me wrong, do it. Find the place. And don't just give me one line at a time. You've got to be able to find it in context. And have to be able to find something that's not a contradiction. I have not found anything that contradicts what I've read so far. So I don't know what else to say other than that. I'm going to go to work. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless you. I hate doing this. I hate constantly having to feel like having to defend myself. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm defending myself over and over again. Shouldn't have to defend myself. Because I'm reading it the way that it's meant to be read. It's what it feels like. It feels like, I'm reading it line for line for line, and there's nothing that's counteracting or contradicting anything that I've read before. The only contradictions I find are when people come back at me and try to tell me something else. And that's where I find contradictions now. And it doesn't, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm doing my best not to immediately go after anybody. I don't want to go after anybody. I don't want to have to go after somebody and say, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're not doing it right. No, I would rather tell anybody that's coming after me, you're not changing me because what I'm seeing doesn't jibe with what you're saying. So maybe we need a third party. I don't want to have a third party. I don't want to pull anybody else into my misery. Maybe I need to look at it again. If I look at it again, maybe it'd probably be completely the same. Who knows? Maybe it'll be different. I doubt it. This is practically all I've done for the past 4 years. It's just been Bible. And I've got enough in my head that I can figure it out. The only let's try this one. The only contradictions I've ever found with the Bible have been outside of the Bible. The way that men interpret the Bible is what contradicts the Bible. How's that for you? Does that make sense? Because men who follow their hearts will go out of their way to make the Bible suit them. Because I'll tell you what, if I were to follow my heart, I could make this book work for me. I could, without a doubt, make this book work for what I want in my heart. And I get contradicted almost daily for my heart telling me to go one way. And the Bible will tell me, no, that's not the way you should go. Because I'm serious. I could very easily make this book work for me. That's where the disconnect, I think, is. That's exactly where the contradiction is. Because I know for a fact that I could be the most evil, sinister asshole in the world because I let the Bible let me do it. And I could go out and I could follow all the ways of this world, and I could very easily turn around and say, well, the Bible said I could. But no, at every turn, everything I do, almost every single day, I get convicted to not go that way. Because the Bible tells me not to. I don't even have to be making these. I don't have to be sitting here talking into a computer. Because the Bible very easily says I don't have to. I could find it. I could very easily find a place in the Bible that says that all I have to do is sit on my hands and do nothing. That God will sort it all out. But no. I am being told by God every single day to wake up early to come here to record this, whether I'm right or wrong, to do this. That's the lesson. How about that? It is what you do every day that you get convicted on because God told you not to do it, or whether you are using your heart to interpret the Bible to what you want it to tell you to do. That makes the most sense, especially to me. But I have gone too long, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get breakfast, because I need to start logging into my computer. That's the way I need to end it. I need to end it there. Sounds good to me. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Don't listen to me. Find it out for yourself. Read your book. Read your Bible. Pray to God. Ask him what he needs you to do. He wants you to do. Ask him how he needs you to interpret it. Don't let any man tell you how to interpret this book. I think it's the biggest problem. We have let too many men in this world and women in this world interpret this Bible for themselves and then tell us how to live our lives. And there's not enough people that are going out there and reading the thing and seeing that what we are told and what the Bible says are two different things. So with that in mind, I will speak to y'all later. God bless every one of you. Take care of yourselves. It's a Monday. Some of you may be working, some of you may not be working. And that's fine. I have to work because again, my job celebrates Martin Luther King Day. It's just not that way. All right. I shall see you all later.